The man sniffs the flower on the mirror and blows it off in one breath. The drug dealer on the other side of the room was very upset, but the man took out the snuff bottle he had with him and poured a little on the back of his hand, and then his whole face contorted and couldn't calm down for a long time. The drug dealer knew he couldn't fake this reaction, so he trusted the man's identity and started negotiating the deal. But the drug dealer never imagined the reason why the other party's reaction is real, because he crushed the mints in advance and then put the powdered mints into the nasal decanter to replace, and he's Captain Zhang of the Narcotics Brigade. A few hours ago, Team Zhang found a man covered in wounds in the hospital, and a drug factory in the suburbs exploded. The 3 bodies inside, they happened to be his wife and brother-in-law. Zhang brought him to the police station, but after a few questions, he told us everything. He said his name was Kai Tianming. Besides helping the drug lord to make drugs, he's also responsible for matching buyers and sellers. There's a big shipment to be traded in the next few days. As long as Zhang can keep him alive, he will cooperate with the police to arrest everyone. Of course, Zhang didn't want to miss it, so he pretended to be the drug lord's henchman, Chang. He came to find the drug dealer, haha, who was going to buy the goods. This guy is a gold medal salesman. He controls nearly 100 fishing boats at the pier. It's so easy to transport drugs.
鱼、虾、螃蟹、鲍鱼等等什么这些乱七八糟的，每天他妈的要运来几十吨呢。
Haha keeps showing his strength, but Team Zhang has only one goal: put the cigarette box with a monitor on the table, and asked his colleagues to keep an eye on the monitor, record every word and every detail of Haha's words, because next, he's going to pretend to be Haha to negotiate with the real Chang. He's already downstairs, while changing into Haha's clothes, while familiarizing himself with Haha's lines, and his signature catchphrase. Zhang followed Kai Tianming to pick up the men downstairs. Xiao Mei from the police force also pretended to be Haha's wife. She and her colleagues set up a room for brother Haha, waiting for Chang to bring him up. I didn't realize that Chang didn't listen to what Zhang said. Instead, he just made a line and pushed it in front of Chang. That's the biggest worry of a narcotics cop. Zhang knew this was a test, but if he doesn't do it, the line will be completely broken. Zhang teamed to support the spirit of continue to say Haha's lines, but Chang sent another line forward without a word. Chang has no choice. Uncle Bill has been a drug lord for years. We've been trying to catch him for years, so Chang did what he wanted to do. Chang wanted to continue until Kai Tianming stopped him. Then Chang gave up. Before he left, he made a promise to meet Uncle Biao tomorrow. Xiao Mei went to see him off, and Chang couldn't hold back any longer, lying on the ground and rolling madly. Thanks to Kai Tianming's knowledge, he first made Zhang drink a lot of water. Then when Zhang was vomiting, he filled the bathtub with ice, let Zhang sink into it and soak, to force the bad things out of his body. Zhang is finally safe and sound. He will meet with Uncle Biao tomorrow. Kai Tianming had no choice. He had no choice but to sell out his apprentice's drug factory. He took over the raw materials from Uncle Biao, so as not to alert the police. Every time he came to the factory, the 2 deaf-mute apprentices would warmly welcome him. And this time, he quietly installed pinhole cameras. He installed pinhole cameras to let the police know what's going on inside. Then Kai Tianming said with tears in his eyes, "Your master's mother and 2 younger brothers passed away in an accident because they were in a hurry. They didn't pay their respects. We had to find a place to bury them." The apprentice wanted to do something, but he couldn't buy any coins in the middle of the night. So he took out a parcel that the 2 of them treasured. When he opened it, there was real money inside.
老婆，一路走好，保佑我。
The plan is on schedule. Kai Tianming sends a drug truck to Yuejiang to prepare for tomorrow's deal, and the police scraped together a few $dozen for traveling expenses. Send 2 colleagues to follow the drug truck. Then Team Zhang pretended to be the buyer. Haha, and Kai Tianming went to make a deal with the drug lord Li Jinbiao. But when the car reached an intersection, Uncle Bill suddenly called to say the deal was cancelled. He asked Zhang to pick up some goods for him here first. So Zhang took the money from Uncle Bill's car. He handed it over to the van in front of him. But when he took the goods back to the car, Uncle Biao said, "This is a gift for you. Tomorrow, I'll go to your fishing port to check the actual capacity. Then we'll decide when to make the deal." Hanging up the phone, Captain Zhang opened the box. It's just a box of cigars, so this is Uncle Biao's test.
通知哈哈今晚交易，让大龙小龙出货。
At night, the factory urgently sealed and packed a lot of ice sugar. They hid them in seafood crates. They loaded up a truck full of them. On the other side, Haha has been waiting for a long time. He traded 30 million in cash in one go. But just when Haha and Tsai were clinking glasses, 2 bombs were thrown in. Haha was subdued on the spot. He couldn't laugh anymore. Meanwhile, the police slowly surrounded the drug factory, but all outsiders didn't know, both the deaf and the deaf, whether he's getting up in the morning, sleeping in the morning, or going to the toilet. He was always wearing a bulletproof vest. The police infiltrated the factory. First, they took control of the families of the deaf and the deaf. Unexpectedly, one of them struggled to break free, triggering the alarm. When the police entered the center of the factory, the deaf were already prepared. He didn't panic and shot at the vitals. Even the weight of his body did not react at all. It's obvious that he's been trained for a long time. And little deaf was still going to the toilet. Suddenly he was hit by a bullet right in his chest. He saw the situation outside through the eye of the gun. The two started their escape plan. Without waiting for the police to react, Little Deaf shot wildly in the corridor. While Big Deaf grabbed a hammer, they smashed through the secret passage they prepared in advance. Finally, they escaped together with Little Deaf. Before leaving, they left a time bomb behind. The news that the police force was seriously injured reached Captain Zhang. Kai Tianming was baffled when he heard the news. He thought his disciple was loyal. He didn't realize that he was prepared for him. He saw that Zhang was going to deprive him of the right to atone for his crimes. Kai Tianming was scared to death and begged for forgiveness. He said Lai Chun Piu was just a puppet. Behind him are 7 Hong Kong people, are the real drug lords. There's still an hour to go. The 7 Hong Kong men will arrive at the fishing harbor for inspection. Chung has no choice. He has to meet Uncle Biao at the fishing harbor as promised. The drug lord lights a cigarette. He puts a lighter with a signal receiver on the table. And Zhang saw right through his trick. This drug lord is just a puppet. The 7 Hong Kong people pretending to be passers-by downstairs. They're the real drug lords. Lai Chun Piu and his men picked 3 fishing boats at random. Then they sent messages to the fake puppets through the earphones. They wanted to see if Zhang could really mobilize them. Zhang knew that the whole fishing harbor was under police control, so he ordered the designated fishing boats to mobilize instantly. But the puppet's sidekick, Chong, suddenly suggested to let all the fishing boats go together. In order to allay his fears, he had to do it. All the fishing boats came out at once. The Hong Kong people were stunned, but it's not a good deal to be rushed, so the Hong Kong people agreed. They agreed to continue the conversation in the pub at night. Zhang did not want to be on the passive side, so he directly proposed to buy the goods for 120 million. Of course, the drug lords were impressed, but Team Zhang is not a real deal. He pretended to see through the drug lord's tricks. He grabbed the lighter and played with it. Chang was worried about being exposed. He excused himself and said he'd talk about it some other time. Zhang's attempts to trap him. Sure enough, he got the 7 old foxes behind the scene and allayed the other party's suspicions. Zhang started to take the initiative. Set the trading place at the fishing harbor. We'll deliver the money in one hand and the goods in the other. Toxin Fade agreed. Seeing that the plan is on schedule, the drug lords want to invite Kai Tianming to dinner. Thanks to this middleman, Zhang did not have time to hesitate. He could only release Kai Tianming to the other side. Unexpectedly, it became his most regrettable decision. On the way to the deal, Kai Tianming suddenly changed the direction of travel, stopped the car in front of the primary school. Then he told the 7 drug lords one by one. Kai Tianming has gone rogue. He wanted to drag the drug lords down with him, to create an escape route for himself. Sure enough, when they heard they were surrounded by police, the drug lords pulled out their pistols. They're fighting to the death. Zhang knew something was wrong. He immediately sent Xiao Mei to evacuate the students. But it didn't work. Kai Tianming kicked the accelerator. He sped straight towards Xiao Mei. Kai Tianming wanted to live alone. He left the drug lord alone into the school bus, taking innocent students as hostages. The firefight outside officially kicked off. 2 drug shrimps on the way to escape. They were killed by Zhang's team. The other prawns hid behind the car. They fought back frantically. But at this time, Kai Tianming had an even more vicious idea. He shot at the policewoman, taking advantage of the kindness of the other police. When trying to come to the rescue, he killed them immediately. It's a dangerous way to surround the police. The police wanted to shoot him, but Choi Tianming used the child as a shield. He didn't give the police a chance. When the police hesitated, Kai Tianming directly started the school bus, then opened the door to pick up the rest of the drug lord to escape together. But just before getting on the bus, the door suddenly closed. Kai Tianming hit the accelerator and drove away quickly, leaving only the drug lords and the police, shooting at each other in an unobstructed field. The duel was fierce. The drug lords are all dead, but there are only 2 or 3 policemen left. Zhang was shot several times, but there was no time to rest. He could only chase after Kai Tianming. His eyes were filled with rage. God is fair. It's said that evil has its own demons. Kai Tianming's 2 disciples came after him. They want to avenge their master's betrayal. In front of him are the vicious disciples. Behind them are police officers who treat them as opponents. Kai Tianming did not hesitate. Throwing down his pistol, he ran wildly towards Team Zhang, because he knew that surrendering, at least there is a chance of survival. He handcuffed Kai Tianming. Then he and his brother drove the car, rushed straight up from the front. He didn't dare to slow down, because there are children in the school bus next to him. He could only use his own body to draw fire. But a hard fight ends in death for both of them. The apprentice is dead. 3 narcotics police. Only their last breath is left. But then Kai Tianming appeared again. In order to escape, he broke his arm. He broke free from the handcuffs. He picked up his pistol, ending the lives of everyone present. Kai Tianming took the car keys from the policeman's body, just about to get into the car, but found that Zhang used his last ounce of strength, cuffed himself and Kai Tianming together, and passed away forever. A few minutes later, police backup arrived. Kai Tianming had no way to escape. He must be executed.